guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm super excited because I am going to be doing a part 2 kind of to my full face using only Colourpop. And the reason why I'm doing an updated version of the original one that I filmed, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, is because Colourpop has come out with a few other new products to officially make this a full face using only Colourpop cosmetics. In my last full face using only Colourpop, at that time they didn't have mascara and they also didn't have liquid eyeliner, so I had to use the gel liner, which I personally am not a fan of. But now they do have both products that just recently came out, and they've also added on a few other new products too that I wanted to include in this video. So I have my little Colourpop makeup bag here, which you guys can see is full of only Colourpop goodies, and these are all the products that I'm going to be using today to create this look. And you guys know that I am obsessed with Colourpop. I love them so much. I love the brand and everything that they stand for, and the products that they come out with are amazing. So before I go ahead and jump into this look, I also wanted to ask you guys if you guys would like to see a video of my collection of Colourpop makeup. I tried doing this video before in the past and I just didn't know if it was something that you guys wanted to actually see or not. I just really wanted to ask you guys what you guys would want to see, because I don't want to make a video that you guys aren't interested in. One more thing too is that I am going to be doing another Colourpop related makeup video whenever I get my brunch date eyeshadow palette from Colourpop times Zoella. So it's going to be a really interesting one, because when I saw that palette I was like, kind of looks like something that I already have, and it was pretty popular a few years back. So anyways, just be on the lookout for that. Also, if you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you guys do click the red subscribe button down below, and also click the notification bell as well, so that way you guys never miss a video. And if you guys enjoy these type of videos, please give this video a thumbs up, just so that way I know what videos you guys enjoy. Enough of me rambling on. Let's go ahead and jump into this full face using only Colourpop cosmetics. So the first product that I am going to be using on my face today is the Colourpop All-Star Matte and Blur Primer. So when I first did my first full face using only Colourpop, they had a primer, but it was in the spray version. So this is their like liquid version, I guess you could say. And it's not my absolute favorite primer ever. It does have a nice light smell to it, but it just doesn't blur out my pores the way I want it to. But it does adhere to makeup very well. So I don't hate it. I don't love it either. Like, it's not a must-have for me. The next product that I'm going to be using is the Colourpop Brow Pencil in the shade Bang & Brunette. I actually like their other brow pencil. I forget what it's called. I think it's their Brow Boss maybe, just because I like the color of that one, but I like the consistency of their brow pencil. This is in the shade Bang & Brunette, by the way. The reason why I'm not a big fan of this pencil is just because of the color, really. I love the consistency of it because it's very nice and creamy, while the Brow Boss pencil is a little drier. So I feel like it kind of rips out my eyebrows sometimes when I apply it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the one eyebrow on camera, and then I'm going to carve it out with some concealer, because I actually need to go get my eyebrows done, which I'll probably do next week. And then I'm going to use the Colourpop No Filter Concealer, and I'm going to use a Bogeshi concealer brush just to go ahead and carve out my eyebrow. I really like this brush to carve out my eyebrows. I feel like it is very nice and stiff, but it's large at the same time, so it gets the job done faster. And then just because I have it, I'm going to go ahead and use the Colourpop Brow Boss Gel. And I believe they only have the clear one, which kind of looks white. So it looks kind of like glue. It's an alright brow gel, but I like the Anastasia one better just because it makes my brows stiff. So it keeps them in place. While this one I feel like kind of falls apart throughout the day. So, and I'm also not a fan of the fact that it's white, but whatever. Alright, so that's one brow done. You guys can see it looks so different compared to this brow that's not done. First of all, it's like a lot darker than this one, which is why I said I don't care for the color, just because it is really dark. And since I have like blonde in my hair, I feel like the only reason why it looks normal is because I have still like the darkness in my roots, but I don't really care for how dark this is. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eyebrow off camera, and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, so now on to the best part, my most favorite part, which is the eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually take the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Fair 00, which is their white. So I actually use this as an eyeshadow base whenever I'm using brighter colors. And all I do is just dot a bit of it, and I'm gonna go ahead and just blend it out with my fingers. So Colourpop doesn't actually have a real eyeshadow primer yet. I'm hoping that that's in the works, but you could honestly use the face primer as an eyeshadow primer if you wanted to, or just your concealer from them. So that's what we're gonna do today. So then for eyeshadow palette, it was really hard to choose because I love so many of them. So I decided to use one that I haven't used in a little while. This is the Colourpop Good Sport eyeshadow palette, which actually came out for fall. It was part of their fall edit, and I did do a look on this before, but I wanted to do something a little bit more springy, just to show you guys that eyeshadow palettes don't have to only be used for one season. You can use them all year long. So we're not gonna do anything too crazy today as far as eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade here called Hooky, and I'm taking that on a Morphe M433 brush, and we're gonna go ahead and just apply it to the flatter part of the brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this onto the outer corner of the eye. Then I'm going to use my Morphe JH32 in the shade here called High Hopes, and I'm going to just use that to blend out the crease some a little bit more. I'm just going to go in windshield wiper motions first, and then I'm going to go in circular motions to blend everything out. I'm using very, very light pressure when it comes to this color. Then I'm going to take the yellow shade in the palette called Trooper, and I'm going to take that on this pointed Morphe taper brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this color, and I'm actually going to apply that right above in the crease area and just kind of press it in place first, just because since it's a yellow, a brighter color, I really want to make sure that it doesn't fade away. And then once I get that color where I want it, then I'm gonna lightly, with very, very light pressure, just kind of blend out the edges so that way you can see that yellow. And then just to intensify things a little bit more, I'm going to take my Morphe M506 brush and take a little bit of the Reckless shade there. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the lower lash line, or the upper lash line right here. And kind of blend that out, kind of like I'm doing a wing eyeliner type of effect. I'm putting a little bit of that Hooky shade right on top just to blend everything out. Sure we don't lose any intensity. Then I'm going to take this Pixie E01 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and take the shade here called Rookie, and I'm just going to kind of apply that in between where this lighter part is and where outer V color is. And this is just going to serve as a transition between shimmer and matte. It's more for like blending, so that way when I go to blend out the other shimmer shade that I'm going to put on my lid, it blends out a lot easier. And then for the lid color, I'm going to go ahead and take one of the Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows, and this is in the shade Kush. So this is actually a shade that was discontinued and they brought it back. So I'm going to take that same exact brush that I was just using from Pixie. I really, really like these brushes a lot. So I'm going to take that and apply that onto the eyelid. And it's like a pretty silvery color that's kind of more on the taupe side. And I'm going to blend that right on top of that Rookie color. And I really, really like this brush because it's really dense and it's nice and thin on the top. So it kind of creates that like cut lid type of shape without actually having to carve out your eyelid. And then for the star of the show, we're going to be using the liquid eyeliner. It's literally what it's called. I think it's the BFF liquid eyeliner, and I got the black shade and I also got the white shade too, just to kind of try them out. So this has like a felt tip applicator. It's not like that brush tip like the Kat Von D tattoo liner or the Maneater that I really like, that are more like calligraphy styled. So we'll see how this works. So far it's very, very pigmented. I do wish it was a little bit more bendy because I don't want to tug at my eye here. I feel like it's kind of tugging at my eye there. So I go ahead and I create the line how long I want the liner, and then at the very tip of it, with a light stroke, bring that towards the eye. And then go ahead and make the line thicker. You can leave it thin if you want to, just depending on your eye shape. I have a bigger eyelid, so you can still really see the eyeliner or the eyeshadow. So I don't mind making it a little thicker. It does have a really nice fine tip, which I really like that about this. But like I said, I just wish it was a little softer or more flexible because it feels kind of rough on my eye. I like the formula of it a lot too. It's like a semi-matte. Alright, so there is one eye done. I did make it a little thicker, but it's okay. Like I said, I do have larger eyes, so I feel like I can get away with a thicker eyeliner. And you can still see the eyeshadow look. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera, and then I'll be right back. So both of my eyeliners are on now. I'm going to go ahead and take the Colourpop Glitterly Obsessed, and this is in the shade Dream About Me. So this is this really, really pretty like duochrome, orangey, green, red color. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like basically like a gold glitter that has like a red and green reflex to it. I wouldn't say this is hollow per se, but it is really, really pretty. So I'm going to take a little tiny bit of that on my fingertip right there. And technically speaking, they're not for the eyes, they're for the body, but just use it with caution. I'm going to go ahead and apply that onto the center where that silvery color and the transition color meet, just to add a little something extra. So that's what it looks like on the eye. So I just feel like it just adds a little bit of extra reflex to the eye. And I really have been loving the Glitterly Obsessed. I used it for eyeliner before. I used it in the inner corner. I've used it on the eyelid. And the cool thing about them too is once they dry, you can just kind of blend it out if you mess up. I just really, really like them. I feel like it's an easier way to use glitter on the eyes without making such a mess. Then I'm going to go ahead and move on to concealer. So they still don't have a corrector. So I'm actually going to use my Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Ocean Ave, which is this really bright orange, but in reality, it is so sheer that I feel like it works well for a corrector. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that underneath the eye, and I'm going to do one eye at a time. And Colourpop, if you are watching this, please come out with correctors for your girl, because I know a lot of people aren't into the correctors anymore, but I feel like at least an orange corrector is necessary. Maybe making like one of the no filter concealers in an orange shade, and maybe even a green shade for people with redness, because I could definitely benefit from it. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of that. The last time I think I used, so you guys see how intense that looks versus how it really looks underneath the eye. I have a little pimple on this side of my nose too, so we're just going to ignore it. My skin's been actually doing really well, and I'm going to do an updated skincare routine. I get a lot of people often ask me why I use corrector, and I even use it on my clients whenever I'm doing makeup on other people. And it's really honestly so that way your face just looks flawless and airbrushed. You don't have to worry about seeing your under eye circles, or like me, I'm a woman of color, so I always put it around my like mustache, beard area, I guess you could say, because this is where I get a lot of ashiness. So when I put on my foundation, even though this part isn't really that dark in real life, but when I put on the foundation, it really accentuates it, so then it turns really ashy here, so it really makes it look like I have a 5 o'clock shadow versus having flawless skin. So right now I kind of look Oompa Loompa-ish, but we're gonna go ahead and put our concealer and foundation on top. I'm gonna use the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. This is the one I used to carve out my eyebrows, and this is in the shade Medium Dark 32. I love this concealer. It's one of my favorites. I stopped using it recently because underneath by my nose, it was just literally just peeling off. Like it just kind of disappears and balls up around my nose area. I'm not gonna put that much near my nose to see if that makes a difference, because I really like the color, I like the coverage, and I like the consistency. But I just have that little issue with my nose, and it's funny because I've used this concealer on a few other clients too, because I do have a few of the shades in my kit. And when I used it on one of my clients, it was so hot and humid, and maybe that's what causes that to like peel apart. But it was so hot and humid, and she came back inside, like she went to her car to go get something, and when she came back inside, she's like, oh my gosh, my makeup on my nose just disappeared, and it literally like just vanished. Like I don't even know what happened to it. It didn't ball up or anything, it just looked like she had no more nose makeup on. And it kind of looks similar to what happens to me whenever I use this concealer near my nose too. I don't know, I think it's like the newer formula, because the old formula of the Colourpop concealer, before they renamed it and added more shades, never used to do that near my nose. It was ever since I got this switched over to the new formula, I guess you could say, or the new like packaging, rebrand, whatever, because I don't know if they changed the formula or what they did, but this is the same color as my Golden 40. I just take my fingers to get that. Once we've done that, then I'm gonna move on to foundation. So I have been obsessed, and I mean obsessed with their, I already like their no filter foundation in the liquid version, but I didn't like the way it lasted on my skin. So I got the stick one, and I actually really like the stick one a lot better. So it's the same exact shade, medium dark 145. So I just apply like 3 little stripes of it, take my JH03 brush and just buff that out. And I really like how this foundation wears. I feel like it doesn't break apart like the liquid one. But this is the first time I tried a stick foundation, and I really like it. I like the coverage it gives, I like the color of it, I like the way it looks, and it's so easy to blend out too. And then what I do is I just take the brush and just kind of stipple underneath the eye. That just makes sure I don't have any fine lines being accentuated before I set my face. And I'm going to use the Colourpop No Filter powder, and I use the banana shade. And you guys know I'm obsessed with this powder. I actually have to get more of it because I'm running low on it, but it's lasted me quite a while. I use this almost every single time that I do my makeup. I'm setting it with the JH02 brush, which is technically for bronzer, but I really like it for setting my powder because it's so large and so soft. So I feel like it does a good job at that. My under eyes, I'm going to use something different, which I've talked about before in my favorites. This is the Beauty Blender, I forget what it's called. It's like the little puff. It's $15. I use it to really brighten up underneath the eyes and to kind of carve out my nose too. So it gives me a nice little guide for my contour. I'm going to also make sure to set around my nose right here, because this is where everything tends to break up. So I'm gonna let that sit there for a little bit. I call this my dry baking method. So then I'm gonna use the bronzer from Colourpop. I just picked this up. This is in the shade Wild Card. So for some reason they didn't have the compact version in stock, but then they had the single version in stock. I don't know how that makes sense, but whatever. And I'm gonna use that on this BH number 2 brush from the Royal brush set or something like that. I don't know, but it kind of has this like really cool little divot here, and I just feel like it hugs the face perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this, and I don't know how I feel about this bronzer shade. It's all right, I guess it does the job. And what I've been doing lately is, instead of like swiping it, is I've been pressing the bronzer in place, and I feel like that makes a really big difference. Like, it doesn't make my bronzer look splotchy at all. I'm gonna use the same exact shade. I picked this one because it's still warm, but it has a little bit of neutralness to it. So I'm gonna use my brush to contour my nose. And I always bring that inwards towards my face there. Then I'm taking my JH07 brush and wiping off all of that loose powder from underneath the eyes. And then at the same time, this helps to blend in my nose contour, so that way I don't have a harsh line. Then for blush, I'm gonna use, I don't know if this is still available, but this is the Knockout palette from a few springs ago. So it has the highlighter shade here, and then the blush, which is called Excuse My French. This is the number 4 brush from BH Cosmetics, also from that Royal brush set. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with my bronzer, where I kind of stippled it on first, and then light-handedly blend it outwards towards my hairline. And I always smile just to get the apples of my cheek here. And I'm not scared to go a little heavy on the blush, especially since it is a really pretty peachy color, just because I know that it might like wear off throughout the day. So if I apply a little bit extra. So I'm gonna actually use a product that I was so excited that Colourpop brought back, because I wanted to pick this up, but every time they like released it, I hadn't gotten paid yet, so it sold out like immediately. And this is the Churro Super Shock Cheek. So this is when they were doing that like tie-dye collection. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that on my finger, just make sure I don't have any glitter left over, and I'll use my middle finger, guys, just to be safe. And And I'm going to take some and put that on the highest points of my cheek here. And this is a little bit bronzy for my liking. I feel like it would work really, really well during the summertime, more than right now where I still don't have that much color to my skin. But now that I have foundation and everything on, I feel like it looks better. But when I put it on my bare skin, it just looks very, very dark. So I'm going to just put that kind of in a C shape around my eye here. Put a little bit on the tip of my nose, some on my cupid's bow, a little bit on my chinny chin there, and some right above my eyebrows. But I want to make it a little extra, so I'm going to go into a palette that I haven't used in a really long time, and I don't know why, because this is one of my favorite highlighter palettes ever, and this is the Colourpop Innuendo. This just makes your highlighter look very wet and like melted within the skin. It just looks really good. I like it. So I'm going to use the shade On the Loose, which is the gold shade in here. So it's the shade in the center, and this is on a Royal Nickel BMX 265 glow brush, and I'm just gonna apply that right on the top of that highlighter, so kind of on the high points of my cheek here, just to really make it pop but not make it too extra. And then I take my blush brush and just make sure that that highlighter blends in with the blush. And then we're gonna use the Colourpop All-Star Setting Spray, which I absolutely love this. I'm so glad that they changed the spritzer on it. So it's a lot finer than the other one that was like ugh, that was just so bad. So anyway, now I'm gonna let this dry and I'll be right back to finish off the rest of my face. Alrighty, so I went ahead and finished one eye off of camera. This is what we're gonna go ahead and replicate on this eyeball right here. So the next step that I'm gonna do is go back into the Good Sport eyeshadow palette and take the JH43 brush, which is a flat liner brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that and put that on my lower lash line. I'm just gonna kind of stamp it on, and I'm not gonna go all the way. I'm just gonna go like 3/4 of the way in. Then I'm gonna take the JH39 brush, which I feel like these two brushes are a match made in heaven when it comes to smoking out the lower lash line. I'm gonna take High Hopes and Trooper, and I'm gonna take a little bit of High Hopes and a lot of bit of Trooper. I'm just gonna go ahead and use that to lightly blend out that orange shade, so that way we still have that like gradient. I'm gonna go into one of my favorite products from Colourpop, and it's the Jelly Munch eyeshadows. I have a whole bunch of these, and I've noticed that when I was putting this one on, I think that they're starting to kind of dry out. I don't know if this is like the Farsali one that when it dries out, it just turns into like a regular eyeshadow, because it's still pretty pigmented when I grab it with my fingers, but applying it on a brush, like it doesn't even feel as jelly-like as before. See, like before I used to be able to like stick my finger in there, now it's like super stiff. So I mean, it still works, but I just have to put a little more effort into it. I'm taking that on this Luxie 141 round mini brush, and I'm going to use that to apply it into my inner corner here to add a nice little extra pop of color. And then to really just give it a little extra something, I'm going to go into the Supernova shadow with Times Kathleen, and this is in the shade Constellation, and just put it in the very, very inner part of my eye. And this is just going to give it that little bit of reflex and glitter. And I love these. These are like my first loves. And then time for what you guys have probably been waiting for. I don't know if I already mentioned this in a video, but this is the Colourpop BFF Volumizing Mascara, and I have the shade Black on Black. I did get this in my mystery bag, and I really like it a lot, to say the least. You guys can see my lashes on this eye right here. And of course, if I didn't have eyeliner on, you can see it even more. It's very similar to the Better Than Sex mascara, but I feel like it's a little less volumizing. It's a little bit more of a wetter consistency. I love Colourpop's lip products. Their lippy pencils are the bomb. This is in the shade Pitch, and they did repackage them, so now that the top matches the bottom, so that way I guess you can store them upright. I store them upside down anyway, so it doesn't matter with me. I don't know if this shade still exists, but this is what I'm going to use today. So I'm going to really, really lightly line my lips with this, because this is a dark color. It's like a super chestnutty brown. I wanted to switch it up from BFF3. You know, I always use that one. It's a little bit more lighter and warmer. This is like the ultimate chonga lip color. Then I'm gonna take Ultra Matte Lip in the shade What You Doing, or WYD. And this is a really pretty, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a brownie, pinky nude. So I just make sure to get the lip liner so that way we don't have any traces of that lip liner. Then I'm going to take one of my favorite lip glosses, which I'm so glad I got this because I wasn't originally going to get it, but I'm glad that I did. This is the Colourpop times I Love Sarai Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Glass Lip. So it's this really pretty peachy color that has little gold glitters in it, and their lip glosses smell like coffee. Like either chocolate or coffee. And I have been obsessed with lip gloss lately. I told you guys that, I think, in my favorites video. And I just love it because the glitter is really subtle, but it really makes the lips look nice and full. And this just gave it more of that peachier vibe, so I feel like it really brings in the look. There we have it. This is the full face using only Colourpop cosmetics, and I love this look so much. The next thing Colourpop needs to come out with, like I said, is correctors and eyelashes and lash glue. I think that's it, yeah. Those are the only things that I can think of that Colourpop doesn't have right now that would like really be just the highlight to everything. And I have a feeling that they are going to come out with lashes pretty soon. So I'd be really excited to see those. But anyways, this is the finished look. So like I said, I don't care for the brow color, but I like the consistency of it. And I think that's pretty much it. Every other product. Oh, and the bronzer, it's alright. It's not my favorite bronzer shade. Maybe I'll go a little bit darker. Especially for the summertime. This look works good now because, as you guys can see with my chest, my foundations are actually too dark for me. So I look like a floating head. So that's why I got something that was a little higher collared, so that way it blended. It didn't look too bad compared to like my hands or my neck. So just bring the hair forward, you know. But anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'm sorry that it was super long, but anytime as we talk through, you know, I'm gonna spill the tea. That is it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and let me know what your guys' favorite Colourpop product is so that way I can check it out, and what videos you guys want to see from me in the future. And I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.